right, welcome back to Defying Insanity. Joe, let me ask you a question. Did you ever shoplift when you were a kid?
All the time. I loved it.
Do you still shoplift?
No.
I used to love it.
Me too. It's annoying. It's something that I was a really, really good liar, a champion of liars. I miss that. Sometimes I still lie. But shoplifting, I was fucking incredible at.
I used to shoplift, and I didn't even care what I shoplifted. I just enjoyed the process of shoplifting. I would go to high school with all my stolen materials and just give it away in the hallways. So, oh, you want this CD? You want these gloves? You want this wallet? If I needed $5 for a nickel bag, I'd sell one of the wallets for $5 and go get a nickel bag. But for the most part, I was just stealing things just to steal. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun. I used to do this. I did it when I was younger, and I remember, I think it was my grandmother or my aunt caught me and brought me back to the store and made me give it back. Like,
really?
Typical family
That's
thing.
so embarrassing.
But the first time I stole like a good amount of stuff, I'll never forget. I broke my pinky toe playing water polo with my cousin Frankie.
That's
right?
the gayest thing I've ever heard you say.
I
Well,
know, but
top 10.
This is, top 100
Yeah,
probably.
let's
So,
be honest, yeah.
so I break my pinky toe. We go to Disneyland, and I'm limping around, and some guy comes up to me like, "Hey, you're right, kid?" Maybe I was like 10 years old or some shit. So they put me in a wheelchair. And they wheeled me
Because of
around.
your pinky toe?
Because of my pinky toe, because I was limping. Put me in a wheelchair, and it's not like I scammed this. We did it later when we went back, but I was getting on all the rides like quickly. You know, you cut the line.
Oh, yeah.
So my sister,
genius.
yeah, I didn't know that though. It wasn't like a grand scheme idea. I wasn't trying to be a little bitch. I was just limping around. The guy's like, "Hey, here's a wheelchair." I'm like, "All right, fuck it."
Fine.
So we go into this Disney store there. And I just started stealing snow globes and stuffing them in my ass because I'm like in the wheelchair and I'm just like, well, $500 worth of snow globes.
Yep.
And I'm like handing them out to my aunts and shit.
Yep.
They're like, "Oh, this is beautiful, Joseph.
Yeah.
But where's the box and the receipt?" I'm like, "No, they don't do that
Yeah.
here. They don't do that here." So I used to do that. And then when you go to like Modell's or Dick's, I was obsessed with football receiver gloves. Because I just started playing football.
That's so funny.
I would steal fucking 10 of them at a time. And my mother would be like, "Where'd you get all these gloves? Red ones, blue ones, all over
They
the place."
fell off a truck, Ma.
Yeah. So I love stealing. I was really good at it too. Yeah. What's with that banana you got there?
I got a banana with me because I intermittent fast. And I'm on 20 hours right now. And this is like my insurance policy. I'm probably not going to eat this banana, right? But if I hit to the point like where it's like I need to fucking eat something or I'm going to, pass out or do, I have this banana as like a security blanket. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know because I thought you were going to teach like a blowjob class or something like that, like in old school.
Oh yeah. Mind the stepshuls. Mind the stepshuls. Yeah. I saw the behind the scenes in that movie.
Crouching tiger hitting penis.
That's a made up word. Andy Dick made up mind the stepshuls.
Of course he did.
That doesn't even. It's not a real word.
I'm sure that guy made up a lot of words. Yeah. He's out of his fucking mind.
Andy Dick is fucking hilarious. I don't care. Like people don't like him. That dude always makes me laugh in every fucking movie.
Yeah, of course. He's a creep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So but the stealing thing, I want to get back to I used to love to fucking steal. And there was a time in my life where I would go by myself sometimes. I would take the bus to Macy's by myself. You know how hard it is to shoplift when you have to time the bus to leave at the exact right time when you're leaving Macy's? This was fucking science. This was mathematics getting involved here. Because I knew the bus would come at a certain time. It would leave at a certain time. I had to walk out the door with all of my stolen materials as the bus was about to leave. Because just in case I was being chased or whatever, I had to make sure I wasn't sitting on that bus for too long. And I would do it, and I would get home, and the people on the bus would know I stole everything. I'd be sitting on the bus with all this fucking shit, with all these alarms on it and everything. You could tell that I stole it. And everyone would have a good time, lots of laughs. I'd, give away the stuff on the bus, and it was wonderful times. I miss it. I miss that. I miss that adrenaline rush. I was thinking about going shoplifting this weekend. You want to come?
You're definitely autistic.
You think so?
100%.
Wow.
Like 1,000%.
So's Elon Musk.
Because
so
I love stealing, don't get me wrong. I didn't get my daily planner out to fucking plan out. It wasn't a heist. I would just be somewhere. I'd be like, I fucking like that.
This was like every time I shopped, it was like the Lufthansa heist. All right?
Yeah. You definitely got touched by that spectrum. Probably ran right into it. But it's all right. I still love you. It's okay.
So, Joe, I have an announcement, a very special announcement to make for you. All right?
All right.
So, we have a guest today.
Oh, we do?
Yes,
Who,
we do.
the fucking guy sitting right next to me?
He's not in the room right now, Joe. He's about to enter the room. His name is Russell. I've known him since I was 8 years old. He's coming down the stairs right now. He's got 4 legs.
Who's the fucking the Mexican mouse cartoon?
Speedy Gonzalez?
Yeah, is that who we're fucking bringing up?
Yeah. Slowpoke Rodriguez, Speedy Gonzalez. That was a lot of Well, he did the footsteps and I did the footsteps. So it was just way too many footsteps.
Our audience should know by now. Like we've talked about where the location we're at. Unless we put them in like the little pen with the Native American statue that we're not allowed to look at or talk about.
That's the green room. That's the green room. Yeah.
All right, good. Well, let's bring them on.
All right, Russell, are you ready to introduce yourself, buddy?
Hey, fellas. Thanks for having me on my first podcast. I really appreciate it.
That's awesome, dude. And we're happy to have you, man. I've known you since I was 8 years old. And the first time I met this dude was in the infirmary at Camp Akiba.
That's true.
Yeah. And we were fucking, 9 years old. He comes up to me. We were both faking being sick. I mean, I know I was, and I'm pretty sure Russell was. Because, when you fake being sick, you get to sit in the air-conditioned room and watch TV. So we used to fake being sick, go to the infirmary. It's Camp Akiba, summer camp in the Poconos. And Russell comes up to me, first words out of his mouth, shows me his bicep. He goes, look, you see this? Look at this. Look at my bicep. See how strong I am? He goes, I'm Russell. I'm from Long Island. All right?
They were impressive muscles for a second grader, I was trying to assert dominance immediately. Show you guys what, the deal.
It was definitely Animal Kingdom style.
I feel like that bunk, everybody just fought each other at least once to, find out what the deal was.
Oh, we did.
Most of them ended up in headlocks.
We were
savages. Most Jewish camps. But,
that's so funny.
Yeah. No, you don't understand Jew camp. You're Italian. Jew camp is a way of life.
Most of my friends are Jewish. I know Jew camp very well.
It reminds me of Boiler Room, when they're talking about how the fights end.
Yeah.
You don't understand. These guys are no joke. They're punching each other in the face.
Yeah.
Most fights in sleepaway camp and Hebrew school end in a headlock, and it's over.
It's so funny.
No,
I want to get back to you calling it the infirmary, though. Like you guys are in the Vietnam War. You went to the nurse's office, dude.
Most of the time it was to skip instructional swim when it was cold out or no one wanted to go in the pool.
For whatever reason, it was
free swim. Nobody skipped, but instructional swim, everybody had a headache and needed to
So when you were 8, you were in Jersey, Atlantic City.
I lived in Margate, New Jersey, in Atlantic City. Yeah.
And then you met him.
That's what was my name in Margate, New Jersey? What was it? Hoser. Hoser.
So I didn't know Hosier, but I met
Justin. Thank God I didn't either.
I met Justin in sleepaway camp. We remained friends every summer, and then all of a sudden one day I showed up. I think I was in 10th grade, and Justin was in the lobby of my high school.
Yeah,
and
I
was
moved to Oceanside.
And he had already met some of my best friends.
And you didn't know at all. It's not like he told you.
No idea.
John.
Yeah, we reconnected it when we were in high school again.
Yeah, I knew. I made my first friends I made in high school happened to be my
neighbors. Yeah, my best friends,
Russell's
my neighbors.
friends, and we did, and then it's oh wait, you're friends with him too? Like you live here? When did you live? When did you move here?
I remember Justin immediately got in-house suspension, and I remember somebody telling me a story. They're like, "You know that guy, the new guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Yeah, we were in in-house suspension." I turned around, he was sniffing a Ritalin.
Yeah,
I was like, "It sounds about like Justin."
Yeah.
I know him when we were little kids, but that's who I figured he'd turn into.
Yeah, That was my first impression at that school with these kids, is them turning around, seeing me crushing up Ritalin on a desk and snorting it.
But that's
what's your name?
Yeah,
hi, I'm Justin. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, but you don't want to be the new kid just quiet with your hood on, shoot the place up. You're fucking oh shit, stay away. This guy's sniffing.
I heard he was showing people his muscles, telling them.
That's
picking up some of his old tricks.
No,
hey, you want some Ritalin? Look at this. Look at this. This is what you get.
Maybe whip my dick out. That's about it.
That sounds more like a me story.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I've known Russell my whole life, and Russell is, he's a stand-up dude. He's always been whenever you need someone to have your back, Russell's going to have your back. He's a good dude. Yeah. And this is the first time you guys are meeting.
First time.
It is.
Yeah.
First
time. Absolutely.
I've heard about Joe for a real long time. But
I've heard about Russell. That's why the Seinfeld episode is perfect. I literally just watched these. He's like, "Hi, summer me, winter me."
Yeah, exactly.
So good.
So Russell, before you entered the room, we were talking about shoplifting. Do you remember any stories? Because I was always all fucked up back then.
I remember Roosevelt
stories?
Field. I remember you stole quite a bit, and I was kind of more of a chicken shit bag. I wasn't really stealing or anything like that. Justin and a few other of our friends stole pretty regularly.
Right.
I just remember you got good at popping off the alarm, and I just remember Justin stole probably one of the most bold things I've ever seen anyone steal. He stole a bright fluorescent yellow Tommy Hilfiger bubble vest.
Yeah.
Oh my!
And
God.
he wore it around everywhere.
But how did I
it was
steal
like
it?
you were very proud of it.
How did I steal it?
You
I
wore it out of the store.
I walked. Not only did I popped off the alarm. I put it on. I walked right through the front gate, right by the security guy. I asked the security guy where the Auntie Anne's is with the stolen vest on.
That's the best thing to do. How'd you figure out how to get the tag off?
I just manipulated it with my thumb. You know, like just my thumb and the two fingers. You know, I fingered it a little bit.
It helps growing up playing with your asshole.
Yeah,
it helps.
You know what worked too? I made sure my fingers were nice and moist.
Yeah, see,
I made sure
I
they
knew
were
it.
really
I
moist.
fucking knew it.
And I massaged it, and I really got in there deep.
You got any good memories of Justin? Crazy story, like the first time you saw him at the school and realized that, holy shit, this guy's actually at my school now living here.
So we started hanging out again. One of the funniest stories about Justin is it started getting nice out. It's kind of the end of the year. We hung out all year and we, did what everybody does in high school, got fucked up and, drove around, smoked a lot of weed. The summer's starting and Justin used to live down the shore in Margate, New Jersey.
Yes.
And Justin tells me that his parents just sold their summer house in Margate.
Childhood home.
Yeah. They just sold it. He goes, we should go down there and throw a party.
Yes.
And
yes.
I was like, well, I thought you don't have the house anymore. He's like, nah, I still have the keys. We should just go do this.
Yes.
So we go down.
We just evicted the renter. We had renters living there. We just evicted them.
And a bunch of girls we knew from camp were going down there and a bunch of guys. We actually brought our friend Frank, who was from our town. Frank looked like he was like 25 and he was really
Frankie
like,
Bones.
He was really like 15. Anyhow, we go down to the Jersey Shore. The first night we sleep at one of the girls' houses.
Yes.
The next day was the plan to break into the house. I remember we were actually surveilling the place and we had beepers back then.
Yeah.
We're beeping Frank, trying to find out where it's. Frank gets off the bus, goes straight to the liquor store like he'd do in Oceanside.
Yeah.
Where everyone knew him. Tries to buy bottles of alcohol because we told him what to get and everything.
We were 17.
Immediately gets arrested.
We were 17.
Like instantly.
Yeah.
Like
right off the bus.
Walks in, gets arrested. He right off the bus, has to go home.
Yeah.
It's like,
so funny.
immediately.
I'm like, bye, Frank.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. So Justin and I are like surveilling the house.
Yeah.
There's people doing construction on the house.
Yeah, my parents hired them. My parents still own the house.
Justin's he's going, no, it's fine. We're going to throw this party here. Anyway, blowout party. Half the shore comes. It makes the shore paper.
Legendary. Made the Down Beach News.
Everyone's there. Everybody's there. Camp friends, everybody. People we don't know.
Yeah, no.
We ended up getting a ton of alcohol. It was like a blowout party.
Like Project X. I don't know if it was like that. Yeah, it made the news. It made the news.
And cops obviously show up, They arrest Justin and his brother. Josh was there too.
We made a lot of money. We were charging $5 at the door.
We were charging at the door. Justin gets arrested immediately. Josh gets arrested.
Why were they arresting you kids?
Well, the party. You have no idea how big this party was.
I remember like the best story. So Justin sneaks out of his handcuffs. I remember he somehow got out of his handcuffs.
Yes, I was a kid, so they put him on lightly. I snuck right out of those fuckers.
Yeah, Josh was stuck in holding.
And the cop that arrested me,
around.
the cop that arrested me used to work for my dad in his restaurant in Atlantic City. So she knew, so she was being really nice to me. And I snuck right out of the cops, and I rubbed it in.
Story I remember from getting back to hanging with Justin again.
My parents,
what kind of charges did they even give you?
16-year-old kid.
Yeah,
my parents
for throwing a party.
$50,000 worth of damage to the house.
Get out of here!
Yeah, and this is 1990s money, so it's like $100,000.
It's like
more.
200.
Yeah. Way more,
Yeah.
dude. I don't know what is within boys that just want to break shit and destroy shit just for no reason.
Love breaking shit.
Right?
Yeah.
Like now I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, especially as you get older, that somebody's property, they bought it, they paid money for it, they take care of it, means something. Back then.
Yeah.
Want to cause destruction.
Oh my God, you just don't give a fuck. Well, it's not like I grew up conscious. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah, no, I didn't grow any of that. But what I did was I grew like I can get in trouble type of thing. Like I realized the consequences
of age. Yeah,
right. Like I didn't think about consequences when I was back in the day. Like I was immortal. I would always figure a way to talk my way out of it. Nothing would happen. It was fun though.
So what I want to know is, what field are you in now?
I'm in insurance.
How long have you been in that field? Is it personal insurance? What?
No, so I've been doing it for 20 plus years.
Damn.
It's a real specialized insurance. We insure boards of directors of publicly traded companies against class action lawsuits, stock drops and whatnot, private companies against bankruptcies. We insure cyber insurance, which is like data breaches and ransomware attacks.
He's the prince of insurance in Manhattan. He is.
How'd you get into that?
So my dad was in the business, and he started in the business forever ago.
He invented a type of insurance.
He was one of the first wholesale brokers in the space. So he started his company in '86, but he was in the business way longer than that. He sold to a PE firm, but I actually ended up working for him like all through high school when I was a complete idiot and just basically photocopying stuff, not taking anything seriously. But
so what'd you actually go to school for?
I just went for business management, and it's kind of one of those jobs you learn as you're going.
Bullshit. He went to school because his dad said, "Just get a fucking degree." Doesn't you just get it to get it? You know, you have to get one. Get one. I'm going to teach you the business. That's really what it is.
He said C's get degrees, and he tell me that the A students teach and the B students work for the C students. That's what he's telling me.
But was it hard? Because I have a lot of friends. Like, there's two things, right? There's a dad that owns a business, right? And the kid wants nothing to do with it, no matter how much the dad pushes them in there. And then there's the other side where the kid is so appreciative and just follows that.
So how did it go? Second guy. I actually tried to get my own job in Miami, and I quickly found out unless you spoke Spanish, you weren't getting a job in Miami. You know, you'd
fucking
be
racist fucks.
So exactly.
Poor little Jewish boy can't get a job in Miami.
So my dad kept saying to me, "Hey, you got a job at home if you want." And my dad was already retired when I got in the business, so he wasn't there to really teach it to me. But he said, "I'll get you your entry level position, and it's a great career." And you know, my dad did extremely well in it. So he got me a job at AIG. I was making $39,000 a year out of school. And in 04, and to be honest with you, scared the shit out of me. Because I always in my head thought, hey, my dad did so well, like he's always going to either like plug me in somewhere where I'll make a lot of money, and then I realized I really was starting from the bottom and had to build my own reputation. And he was there, obviously, to help guide me, answer questions, but he was retired in Florida.
But did you kind of like that better? The fact that like you had to pave your own way. He just got you an entry level position. There was no pressure as far. It was just like
I don't think you liked it better in the moment. I think now in hindsight you realize it's better.
I moved into the city with one of my best friends I grew up with. My dad gave me $500 a month for the first 6 months, and then told me I was on my own. He told me it was going to be 6 months. I didn't believe him. I thought he was going to continue to help me. He was very generous in school, paid for college and whatnot. So I thought that he was going to continue to support me. Starting from the bottom scared the ever-living shit out of me, and it scared me into working my ass off.
So after 6 months, he didn't just say that. When 6 months came, he was that's fucking awesome.
Cut me off.
But he knew his dad did it because he loved him, and he wanted him to pave his own way.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
but not only did he
Bentleys, Ferraris, and he told me that's my fucking money. Go make your own fucking money.
Yeah, but it's not like he just threw you out on the street. Like, he paid for everything at college.
Oh, yeah.
You went to college, right? He took care of you. When you were out, he still helped you get on your feet.
Absolutely did.
But at the same time, really taught you a valuable lesson.
So he told me...
And not saving the day all the time.
Yeah, my grandfather sliced meat in the butcher shop. My dad, didn't have anything, worked his whole life.
What kind of meat? Like a nice pastrami?
Yeah, he was like in a deli.
Would you like some pastrami?
Yeah, but I think that's because you hear the other story so many times. Like, and that's why that famous quote or whatever it is, like, hard times make hard men make soft times make soft men. Like, I think that's a big responsibility that people take lightly, and I don't know if parents become lazy or just don't think about it, or you just want your kid to have the best, and you're doing the best you can. I know most parents
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, but most people are just doing the best they can. They don't you don't know what to do. You had nothing. You want to give your kid everything, but that is like almost like textbook of someone who worked their ass off, built something, and made sure their kid didn't wind up an entitled little bitch just fucking with their hand.
Yeah, but look at Russell now. Russell's a hugely successful businessman.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point.
He was more of a coach, and he used to love hearing me do deals at all these companies I worked at. And then then it all went full circle. The guy that actually was friends with my dad that hired me into the industry back at AIG when I was 21 called me and said, hey, I'd like to start this company. I'm 63. I don't really know the young brokers that have all this business anymore. I know you're running this division. You know a lot of the younger brokers. Do you want to be my partner and start this with me? So him and I started the company August 2020, smack in the middle of the pandemic.
Boom.
It was crazy. It was
so you started your own company.
It was the two of us, the third guy helping us, and some back office folks, and we just went to work. And I was a disgusting human being, smack in the middle of the pandemic. Wasn't showering for days. I was just at my computer, hunched over, doing deals every second. My wife barely At the time, my fiance
She wasn't married. You
barely
weren't married,
saw me. I was literally at my desk. All I do is work, and we built it. We ended up hiring one of my best friends, who's phenomenal, does an incredible job, and
Quince Mumbles.
brought him in. Yeah, buddy Gavin, brought him in and hired a team out to about 20 of us now, and we ended up getting a bunch of unsolicited bids about maybe like a year and a half ago, and one of them was by a guy named Tom who started this $1 billion firm. He's backed by a London private equity company, and he was really, really exciting guy to kind of consider partnering with. And the way he explained it is, I'd be the third division of his company, report up to him. My partner Greg's now 68. He was going to take a step back, consult more, and Tom would let me lead it. And he said he'll let me still continue the entrepreneurial spirit and start my own groups within this company. So I'm in the process of starting 3 new groups. 2 of them are with London, and one of them is in the States. So with a German company. So I'm in the process of doing that, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's really interesting. Now, let me ask you a question. How many times a day do you jerk off?
When I have time, I guess. Well, no, I'm married now, Justin. You don't always do that.
It's different. Yeah, when you, it's totally different when, like, I'm not married, but once I moved into my girlfriend's house years ago with kids, it's like, I went from jerking off everywhere whenever I want to be like literally jerking off like Osama bin Laden in the back of the fucking shed hiding from them.
There's
like,
no time.
What does that even mean? I never heard that.
There's no time.
I want to go back because when you're working that hard, but you're building something for yourself, it's a totally different experience.
You talking about jerking off?
Because it's a high.
Well, it was a high. My dad started his own company. I wanted to be entrepreneurial as well. It was always something I kind of had in the back of my head. And I knew I was getting serious with Joey, and I knew that once we started a family and had kids, it would be really tough for me to quit a high-level job at a big firm, and this was my shot to do it. So I took it, and luckily it really paid off.
And now you have a child?
That's sick.
1 child and 1 on the way. It happened really fast.
Oh, my
I
God. It's
fucking
so
blinked.
weird.
Yeah,
You have a
that's
kid and your wife
crazy.
is
How old
pregnant.
Uncle
Shit.
Justin. I got a 17-month-old daughter, and I just found out I'm going to be a girl dad. I have another girl.
Another girl?
So am I. Basically, I have 2 girl stepdaughters. It's cool.
Oh,
It's
my
good.
God. You're going to be in a house with all women? So now you're going to have 2 daughters and a wife.
And
You're
my
going to be
girl
living
dog
in this
all
house.
surrounded.
You're
Yeah,
going to be
it's all right.
watching like Vanderpump Rules instead of Nick games. Like, how is that even possible?
It's nice. It's nice being a girl dad. It's,
No, it
it's
is
different.
not. You guys are crazy.
Me and my brothers used to say that all the time. No, you were like, we used to always want boys because bottom line, why? It's our male ego because all we could think about is our daughters growing up and how we were as guys. Like, that's the
Dude,
biggest thing.
in The
But
Godfather,
guys-
may your first child be a
guys
masculine one.
Yeah, but God, like, think about how much trouble boys get into. Like, as I got older, I realized, like, oh my God, if I have to worry about fights and being fucking and tough and just all the shit that we got into, it's fucking scary having a boy.
I got to tell you, so I'm in Boston last week with 2 of my best friends. One of them is 2 boys, and one of them is 2 girls. And they're both a little older. They're both like, they're all in like grade school, right? Maybe a little bit younger than that. And we're all at the Celtics Suns game. And we're all hanging. And
Nice.
these 2 guys go to the bar to get a drink. And I'm somehow find myself on the line with all 4 kids, get to get ice cream, right?
Yeah.
The girls look at me, hey, Uncle Russ, you think we can get some samples from the ice cream? I say, yeah, no problem. I turn around, the boys are on the floor, rolling around, punching each other in
They're
the
retarded.
face.
Yeah.
Boys are retarded.
No,
Yeah.
and there's a line of 50 people behind me. I get them up. I bring them up. I go, guys, you got to stop it. I go, your dad, blaming the dad. Dad's going to freak out on you. They look at me, they go, okay. I turn around again. One of them throws a haymaker
Yep.
like he's trying to knock his fucking head off his shoulders.
Overhand right.
That's
Yep.
what I'm
Falls
talking
into
about.
the wall, slides down again, and they're rolling around on the floor. And I looked at the girls, and they're just like, what ice cream should we get? And I'm like, maybe this isn't so bad.
Yeah, in the beginning,
what I'm talking about.
it's better to have a girl. But wait till that girl turns 13 and 14
Yeah, but
and brings home a date. He
This is
goes, he's
different.
3 years older than me, and we don't worry, Dad, we use condoms.
Justin's going to end up having a boy. He's going to be really feminine.
Yeah, but that
Tampons.
100%. But look, like my oldest, like, yeah, she went through her phases, but she's awesome. Like and again, girls have their issues too. I'm not saying that, but boys are fucking tough. They're, I watch them. I train, like, you can see the difference.
Savage beasts.
Animals.
So, no, that's awesome though. But what I want to ask you, because as you were talking about, Justin and I talked about it all the time, and that's one of the reasons why I get fascinated with how people wound up where they are, whether it was professionally, life, anything. Because I know life sends you down a lot of different rabbit holes, and it's kind of hard to find your place, right? So you get that job. You get that job through your dad, and now you're working there, and you're doing your best you can. But what was the moment where you were like, oh, yeah, this could be my career? Like, I'm actually going to put forth like 100% effort, and I'm going to give this a shot.
You know, you're thinking about it a lot when you're making 30, 40, 50 grand a year.
That's
and you keep thinking, is this something that
when is it going to pop?
is sustainable? Yeah, when am I going to get to this next level? Or should I be looking to do other things, right? So, no, 100%, I agree. I think it hit for me when I was 28 and I got that next level job managing people and was able to start my own team. It became fun. And I got to that next level where I was making a little bit more money, and it became more than just a job. And at that point, I knew it was a career for me. I knew that, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to build something out. It gave me the confidence to start a company because I knew I did it once for a bigger company. I want to do it for myself one day.
And when you start coaching people and managing people, and you see like something click for them and they start doing well, and you're like, it kind of gives you more of a sense of purpose.
I couldn't agree more.
You're helping others at the same time, build careers, help their families. Like it's something different than just making money.
No, absolutely. And, at that time, I told you my dad was coaching me all through everything. And, he
mentoring.
Yeah,
really.
mentoring me. Yeah. He was. And, I had different mentors at work and different, you call them rabbis in the Jewish religion at work. Everybody was, I always found people that were super helpful and, kind of paved the way. But, also I stayed single till I was 39. Not single, I had girlfriends throughout the way, but I didn't get engaged till I was 38 and married till I was 39. So I always say I think that, funny enough, helped me just focus on my career more than anything. I had one focus at that time. And
laser focus.
Yeah. I lost my dad. I was 33. And at that moment, I kind of socially took a step back. My growth was stunted socially, and didn't want to date, and whoever I was with, I just ended it and wanted to be alone.
That was tough, dude. You were like really like in a hole, like mentally. I remember I used to come visit you. You were depressed.
I was smoking a lot of weed by myself. I took a little bit, probably more Xanax than I should have taken at the time. And all I really wanted to do was work my ass off. When I went home, I didn't really care about doing a whole lot. And that was kind of where it was for a while. And it took me a little bit of time, I guess, to really, snap out of it.
When your dad passed, I'm sorry, he passed, you were still working at a different company, like the original company, as a salesperson?
I was managing a group, and he started to see that, but he didn't see me get to that next level. And that happened kind of pretty much after he passed. Like I'd say, within the next year and a half, 2 years.
But he knew. He saw the trajectory, and he knew.
Were you always close with your dad?
Yeah,
you always have a good relationship with him?
Not until my dad didn't take me seriously until he didn't have to give me money anymore. So as long as he was supporting me, he didn't really respect me enough, I don't think, to like treat me the same way, like a friend. The second I didn't need money from him and I was on my own, he started seeing me getting promoted. We became best friends.
He got to see his handiwork.
5 times a day, 10 times a day, nonstop.
Proud father.
I'll never forget, he was taking the whole family on a trip, and he told everybody to, book flights, and which flight are you booking? He'll pay for it. And I told him I got my own flight, and he was probably never been so proud.
Oh, yeah, of course.
At that moment, I think I just earned his respect. I remember going to Florida and taking him out for a Father's Day dinner and paying for him and my stepmom. And I think at that point he was like, my son turned into a man.
Yeah.
More,
our parents love us no matter what, but they don't always respect us. You got to earn that. And you did.
Yeah. I had to take a close look because I had so much resentment towards my father and stuff like that until I took a closer look at myself, and did some reflection and just looked at everything from a bird's eye view of like, what the fuck is the point of a dad? What is their main job? Protect, provide, right? And the bottom line is what parents really want is to know that you're going to be okay. And a lot of where their angst and frustration comes off, and maybe what do they call it? Misplaced rage or whatever it is, like how we take it as kids, because all we want is love and to make our parents proud. Like we don't take time to really sit back and think where they're coming from.
Yeah,
and a lot of it is fear. It comes from a place of fear. Like, fuck, I didn't do a good enough job. Did I spoil him too much? Did I give him too much? Did I not give him enough? Like, what is it? And to see that, it's kind of like you could take a breath. To see that your kid's okay and they got it, they don't need you. It's not like you don't want to take it. I'm sure your father, if he had to, but it's that idea that it's like, oh, I could breathe now. My
and in
kid
your
is
case,
you hit it on the head.
In your case, Joe, your dad was probably just relieved to see you not whipping your dick out everywhere you went.
Absolutely.
That must have been like a relief. You must have been proud that day you didn't whip your dick out at a family dinner.
Yeah. My father never drank because he's like, I like to be in control of myself. But when he did, he stripped. So I don't know where I got it from, but I was getting naked from the time I was a very young boy, and I haven't really stopped. But I've gotten better at it. I've gotten better at it. Now I have my own place. I can just walk around naked, and I don't have to.
So it's safe to say you and Russell had two different paths when it comes to like making your father proud. Like Russell, he bought his own plane ticket, started his own company. You stopped wearing outfits for your cock.
Yeah,
and these were the
and I cut my afro.
Right.
I cut my afro.
Yeah.
Oh, you look human again. Yeah. My pops was pretty easy. All I had to do was stop shooting heroin and robbing from the family, and I was like, all right, he's doing good.
Yeah. That's my boy.
I set a pretty low bar there.
Yeah, well, hey, that's the key to life. Set a low bar.
But like honestly though, I find that stuff fascinating, like how you got there, right? And then, like I said, like the distinguishing factor, because I think everybody has a problem with that, right? What's the biggest question we ask ourselves? Why am I here? Yeah. Right? Like, why the fuck am I here? What am I going to do? You see people just going about their lives. They have these careers. They're like, oh, that's nice. And you're trying to figure out what you want to do, So I think that's pretty cool from a lot of standpoints, but just being in that position. And that's the other thing I want to ask you. Like, I know you said when you started managing other guys and stuff like that, but was there a moment for yourself, like whether it was the first sale or first business meeting or anything like that, where you felt like, there's a little bit of high I get from this. I kind of like this.
Doing deals, doing deals. When a deal closed, I got real excited. That used to get me going.
So what were some of the points that almost made you want to quit? Because even for my job, I love my job, but I asked this because I lift my head up a lot. Like in life in general, I'll be on a path and I want to compare myself to others. I want to look at the timeline. I'm like, am I making enough money? Am I going to make enough money before I retire? I'm 42. Like I ask all these questions that take me off the path that I'm on. And it winds up taking me from lily pad to lily pad, never really spending time anywhere and making it anywhere because I'm never going forward. I'm just moving laterally. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, I'm always interested too because I'm not fucking unique. I think a lot of people go through this, you know what I mean? And never giving themselves an actual chance to get anywhere. So was there periods there where you were just like, I can't fucking do this anymore. This thing sucks. Why am I doing this?
More when I was kind of at the second company I was at. It was a pretty flat organization. No matter what I did, even if I led the whole group in new business, I wasn't moving up anymore.
I think unappreciation is a very hard feeling to deal with. And that's whether it's feeling unappreciated in a relationship, in a job, wherever. It's a very difficult feeling to deal with and swallow. And there's only so much you could take before you either fucking lose your mind or stand up for yourself and be like, I deserve better. I deserve more. And then I want to go back to this because I think that's important. Again, like we all go through hardships in our life. But you said when your father passed, you kind of like threw yourself into work, was smoking weed a lot, but you were in a dark place. Like you said, you would call him all the time too.
Yeah. I used to visit him because I wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to like fall into like a deeper dark place.
Yeah, I lost my best friend and I numbed myself out.
Yeah. And did you, I'm sorry to bring this up, but I think it's like, you didn't know it was coming. It was kind of like when your father passed.
No, one day I got a call and he had pancreatic cancer and I kept telling me he'd beat it. And 5 months later, he passed, but I went down and helped take care of him with my stepmom for the last full month because he refused to get like an in-home nurse. And
he's tough,
help him go to the bathroom and things of that nature. So, I went down there and I helped take care of him. I didn't leave for the month, and the guy I reported to down in Georgia literally said to me, "I know what's going on. Just go down to Florida and don't come back until you're ready to come back."
That's fucking awesome.
But it's traumatic.
I love that guy.
It's traumatic to go down there and watch your father die.
Oh my God, and take care of him.
The hardest part, to be honest, was like thinking of him. he was disintegrated till next to nothing, and you're helping him go to the bathroom, like I was saying, and do anything, and it takes a while to think of him as the guy he was that you're used to, the guy Justin remembered smoking cigars in the backyard, and the guy I remembered when I pictured him in my head. Because for so long you can't get that image out of your head of him when he was sick.
Yeah,
Think of him as the guy he was. So it took a long time to get that out of my head, and just being there until the end was pretty tough.
Dude, you had
so I didn't know what to do. I left, and I
had PTSD.
I definitely threw myself into work, but it was a tough place to be in because even when I did deals, I got a deal closed. He was the first person I called. So it got tough, and he was the only person I felt that really knew how it felt to do a deal and close a deal in our industry and knew exactly what I was talking about. So it took a while.
But you would get signs. I remember we talked about this when it was going on. Like you would get these metaphysical signs that your dad was there.
One real cool thing I'll tell you is that But I started off with my apartment. It was like my bachelor pad. I started out with this place. My fiance moved in. Then my wife. We're raising a daughter in the apartment. Telling you guys earlier, we have our dog. Our nanny's there. We started growing out of the apartment, and we ended up purchasing a place, or we are purchasing a place out in Westchester. And my wife loved this house, and it was a phenomenal, great house. Every house was turning into a bidding war. This one was off market. I went to the owner and I threw him an offer, and they balked and said no, it was considerably lower than they wanted. And I came back a little bit later with another number that I thought was somewhat realistic, and I said, would they consider that? And their broker kind of said to me, I don't know if they're going to consider it, but I'll come back to you. It was definitely lower than they wanted. But I went to Florida for the month of February with my family. I ended up I was with my wife and on the West Coast visiting my mom in Naples. I go back to the East Coast where my stepmom lives. Saw my stepmom, took some clients out to play golf. Before I shot back over to the West Coast to see my wife and family, I stopped at the cemetery to see my dad, and I did my morning call from there. I let him hear me, talk about work, and he had it on speaker. He heard me converse with my company, how everything's run. I thought that was kind of cool. He used to love hearing about, the way, hearing me do deals and do business. And so that went on. And then I visit him about once a year. I'm down in Florida in February. And after that, for the next half hour, I just cried my eyes out. I told him everything that was happening in my life. Told him about my daughter Dylan, told him about my wife, everything that was happening, even a little bit about my sister, what she was doing, and my nephews and my nieces, how well my brother-in-law is doing. And I ended it by, telling him, I'm trying to find this house. We have another kid on the way. We're really being, boxed out of the apartment. I have to find a place soon.
Yeah.
And I said, I think I found a place that's pretty cool. I don't know if it's meant to be. If it's meant to be, I could really use some help in getting it. And I left, and I had a 2-hour drive back to Naples. And about an hour and a half into the drive, I got a call from the broker who told me, hey, they want to know if you want to meet them in the middle, do you want to buy the house or not? It happened on the way home.
Normal people call that coincidence. That's not coincidence.
So that was something that I felt pretty cool and good,
Yeah, that's fucking amazing.
That's God.
Chills.
That's God. Coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous.
Yeah, really that's awesome. That's a great story. And so when you were going through that stuff, though, like what helped you get out? Because obviously you were in that space for a little while. Like what were some of the things you were doing to try and get out of it, or maybe not even consciously? You were just throwing yourself in the work. But was there anything that happened that it was like you were able to let go, come to peace with it, and move on?
So a couple of friends would say things to me when I'd hang out. People would notice I'm falling asleep, and we all taking Xanax, and people make fun of each other. We're all best friends.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody had any serious talks with me or sat me down like that. But when you get made fun of and something's true, it kind of hits home a little bit. Yeah. So and plus I felt like I wasn't in the moment a lot, and I always want to live in the moment. And I feel like I heard an expression at one point. You could give up one thing for everything, or everything for one thing. And that I remember has always stuck with me.
Yeah.
And to be honest, one of the main things that helped me snap me out of it, and this might sound a little cliche, but it was the gym and working out. It was real helpful for my mental health. And I couldn't go to the gym if I was taking Xanax.
No.
And that was the first thing I did. Was
And now you haven't taken a Xanax in what, over a year, 2 years?
3 years.
3
almost.
years
So,
now. That's amazing.
Yeah, 2.5, 3 years. And
That's sick.
last time I took it was New Year's, like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. And you used to take it every day. It was like a
every
thing,
day, yeah. I wasn't taking them like people that had major addiction. I wasn't taking multiple bars, but I was taking a quarter bar, a half bar.
You're numbing yourself.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll tell you is I had a fucking nurse giving me these things.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
Yeah,
She was a nurse at their house. I went in, made some shit up that I was scared to fly, and I had to fly for work, and I needed this to fly, and I couldn't go to sleep, and I had her give me 60 of them anytime I wanted. It was pretty wild when I think back on it.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing I kicked was the Xanax, and then I started still smoking a lot of weed after my daughter was born, and I was in the process of selling my company. I was on the phone with lawyers and bankers for 12 hours a day, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't handle it anymore. One day, my wife was away with my daughter and her friend and her daughter. I think it was like a Saturday into a Sunday, and I smoked so much weed that Saturday into Sunday just because I felt like I have free time. I never get to do this as much as I want to, and I just smoked myself retarded. And the next morning, I woke up from Monday to deal with these bankers and lawyers, and I just felt so stupid. And I could barely even
You weren't even enjoying weed for the last years.
I wasn't enjoying it.
A bunch of years.
You're right. I wasn't. And that helped me kick it. Because, I was able to work out high or, coming down, but, couldn't do it on Xanax. But smoking weed, I was able to do it and still be in good shape. But I didn't take it to the next level of working out 6 days a week and feeling great, until I stopped smoking weed, And I haven't smoked weed in about 9 months almost. So, not too long ago, but long enough where I feel
for
great.
You,
and I can't even imagine going back,
No, yeah, because now you have a whole new lifestyle.
Yeah.
You have a whole new lifestyle. You feel good about yourself. You feel smart. You feel on the ball. It's just different.
It's the longest I went from smoking weed since I'm in 10th grade. And it's crazy because your brain is like trained to be high. And and
you almost feel high when you're not high.
It was, right? And you're grouchy and you're just irritated easily when you're not high.
Your sleep is normal. You went years without normal sleep.
Yeah, but at first it's harder, and then all of a sudden you start to get good sleep. When you first quit weed, it's like it's harder falling asleep, and then you realize, oh my god, I was never actually asleep.
Never
resting.
truly asleep.
And you never dream. Now you dream. It's pretty wild, and you lie to yourself. You tell yourself you don't have issues with it. It's just weed. But look, and I'm not trying to preach because I'm not saying, it's not normal. Some people can handle it. I don't know if I'm somebody that can handle it.
Snoop Dogg can handle it,
Yeah, and look, this isn't the weed our parents smoked, right?
Different.
It's high, it's wild. I was at a doctor, and the doctor was like, asked me once, you smoke weed? I said, yeah, and he laughed. He said, what you're doing is drinking vodka straight. Your parents smoked weed; they were drinking a beer.
Right, that's the equivalent. Exactly.
It's what the THC.
Old we used to call it regs when we were a kid, but that was just normal weed.
Swag.
Now it's like swag, regs, whatever. Now weed is just so concentrated. That's a good analogy. It's like the difference between vodka and beer.
It's crazy how concentrated it is, and honestly, I was getting panic attacks.
Yeah.
While I was smoking, and I didn't even care. I still wanted to smoke.
Yeah, well,
it was crazy.
You're in it. That's nuts, man.
So, all right. So I'm gonna Joe. Let's thank Russ. Russ came all the way from the city, from Manhattan.
Yeah, awesome.
It was a long drive. Yeah, I really want to thank you.
Pleasure
Russ.
meeting you.
Yeah.
I love hearing your story and just where you are now. Again, fascinating. Fascinating, I think, to the listeners too. How you started, the whole story. Fantastic to meet you. Just because everything I heard from you, it was just a pleasure. It was awesome.
Likewise, been looking forward to meeting you.
All right, it was a pleasure. Awesome.
That was
guys.
fun. All right,
Thank
later.
you.